Recording in progress.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Committee of Adjustment meeting. I'll open the meeting at May 16th at 6:32 p.m. And we'll start with the land acknowledgement.
Through you, Madam Chair, the town of Innisfil acknowledges that Innisfil is situated on treaty land that is steeped in rich Indigenous history. The town also acknowledges that this land is the traditional territories of the First Peoples of Turtle Island. It is shared between the Anishinaabe peoples of Beausoleil First Nation, Chippewas of Rama First Nation, and Chippewas of Georgina Island First Nation, and we thank them for generations of stewardship. This meeting place is still home to many Indigenous people, and we're grateful to have the opportunity to work on this land. The town acknowledges the four sacrifices that are the foundation of Canadian society today. We are dedicated to honoring Indigenous history and culture and committed to moving forward in the spirit of reconciliation and respect with all First Nation, Métis, and Inuit.
Okay, again, welcome to the Committee of Adjustments hybrid meeting, where we are meeting in person at the Town Hall and offering members of the public or applicants who are unable to attend in person to utilize Zoom or telephone to come before the committee. Members of the committee in attendance tonight: Marnie Adams, myself, Sarah Oettinger, chairperson, Bill Van Berkel, and then absent today is John Ramonde and Rod Hicks. We ask that everyone attending tonight's meeting put their electronic devices on silent. The committee will follow the agenda as noted. To view the agenda, please visit the town's website, and there you can access all of the previous and current applications. All applicants and members of the public who wish to address the committee via phone or Zoom will be placed on mute until called upon. You will be able to hear all conversations taking place. For applicants and members of the public attending in person or via phone or Zoom and wish to speak to a specific application, will be called to the podium by the chair in order of the agenda and proceedings. All comments will be addressed to the chairperson. We would ask that members of the public who wish to speak to a specific application restrict their comments to the specific details of the application being heard and have not been previously expressed by another member of the public. Once the public discussion is complete, the committee will close that portion and open discussions with the applicant. Once complete, the committee will render a decision. And now we'll go ahead with the agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda? Bill? Seconder? Marnie? All in favor? Can I have a motion to approve the past minutes? Somebody? Marnie? Seconder? Bill? All in favor? Does any member need to disclose any pecuniary interest with the applications before us?
No.
I see none. Okay, Mr. Secretary, please advise how notice was provided.
Through you, Madam Chair, in compliance with Ontario regulations, the notice of hearing was circulated to property owners within a 60-meter radius of the subject properties, and signs were posted on the subject properties on or before May 2nd, 2024. In addition, all application information, including the notice, key map, and application drawings, were made available on the town website.
Thank you. Okay, we'll start now with the first application on the agenda, application A004 2024 for 2979 Middlemass Street. May I please ask the applicant to approach the podium? Hi there.
Good evening.
And what is your name?
My name is Shane Connors from MHBC Planning.
Thank you. Welcome to the Committee of Adjustments. Mr. Secretary, can you please read out the details of the application and any comments associated with it?
Through you, Madam Chair, the applicant is seeking relief from Section 4.2B of the zoning bylaw to permit a reduced overall landscape open space ratio of 30% for an approved land lease townhouse development and associated accessory buildings. Planning recommends approval with conditions. Building, in-services, and engineering have no comments, and one public comment was received.
Thank you. Do you have anything that you wish to add with regards to your application?
I do have just a brief presentation, if you don't
Okay,
mind.
can we get that up on the screen, please?
Okay. So good evening, members of the committee, staff, and members of the public. As I mentioned earlier, my name is Shane Connors from MHBC Planning. I'm here tonight on behalf of Parkbridge for a minor variance application for their Phase 2C site. Joining me tonight, I also have Amber Palmer from Stantec, who's one of the project engineers on the development, as well as Michelle Liu from Parkbridge. Next slide, please, Tomasz. So the Phase 2C site is located within the approved Innis Village subdivision, and it's the third and final phase of the residential land lease block developments within the subdivision. Adjacent to the site to the east, you'll see on the screen there is a stormwater management pond block. To the north, a landscaping block, and to the west, a public park block. Next slide, please. So on the screen is just a copy of the site plan for reference, which shows that the development will be a 38-unit townhouse development with Muskoka rooms, as well as an internal two-way road system with visitor parking. And there's also just some smaller garden sheds proposed with the units of buildings G, H, and I on the south end of the site. So as Tomasz had mentioned earlier, the variance application tonight is requesting a reduced landscaped open space requirement of 30% from 35%. And it's noted that the reduction in the landscape space mainly relates to the private amenity areas of the rear yards of the buildings. The general intent and purpose of the landscaped open space requirement is to provide amenity space for residents as well as to assist with drainage. Regarding amenity space, even with the reduction, it's noted that there will still be just over 5,000 square meters of amenity space for residents. Last year, the committee also approved a minor variance application for the Muskoka rooms on site, and that will provide covered amenity space for the residents. Additionally, there was also a trail network proposed as part of the swim pond, landscaping, and park blocks that will provide additional amenity space for the residents. And within the landscaping block immediately north to the site, there will be trees and vegetation that will help screen the development. Regarding drainage, we did submit a stormwater management letter with the minor variance application in support of the variance, which outlines that the swim pond block is sized to accommodate the development. And just would like to note that we did receive comments from residents opposing the development and variance request. However, I just wanted to clarify that the variance tonight is not to permit the development in general, but rather just to facilitate the design and layout of the development. Matters related to stormwater, water balance, erosion settlement control are being addressed through an ongoing site plan approval application for the site, which we've currently submitted the third submission to the town, and it's currently under review by town staff and LSRCA staff. Also would just like to note that we've read the staff report and have no concerns. And in association with staff's recommendation, we would request that the committee approve the variance tonight before you. So that concludes my presentation. Be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Is there any questions from any members of the committee? Go ahead, Marnie.
Through the chair, if the Muskoka rooms weren't there, would this have met the green space requirement?
Through you, Madam Chair. No, with the inclusion of the Muskoka rooms, it puts us below the landscaped open space requirement.
Okay. But you'd be closer to, I mean, Muskoka rooms are pretty sweet to have, so yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? I have a question. So why the need for additional dwelling units instead of just complying with the landscape open space requirement? So why not alter the proposal just to comply with the zoning for open space?
To you, Madam Chair, it's my understanding that the overall unit count was approved through the overall subdivision approvals. So we're not altering that. It's more so just a function of the actual design of the site, just to provide some additional benefits, such as the Muskoka rooms and garden sheds for future residents.
Thank you. Any further questions? No? Okay. Mr. Moderator, is there any members of the public wishing to address the application being heard?
Through you, Madam Chair, there is. We ask Louis Resnick to please come to the podium.
Hi there.
Hello,
And what is your name?
Louis Resnick.
Welcome to the Committee of Adjustments.
Thank
And
you.
go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee. As I said, I'm Louis Resnick. I'm in the neighborhood. I've been there since 1981. Live on Woodlands Avenue. I'm here for myself and our neighbors. There's 17 residents there. There's also on Sandy Cove Place, a bunch of residents who've asked me to speak on their behalf, and some other neighbors along Lockhart and Moosenlanka. I also have family members on a number of the streets. I'm sorry, am I loud enough? It's okay. Okay. We're here not because of the development, but solely because of the open space requirement. Just a brief history from our standpoint of what's gone on the site there. It's a huge site. Many years ago, when they first got site plan approval, they removed the soils there, which were all like loam, it's lowlands, and it retained all the water. They did so much dewatering there that they dried up all the wells in the area. Then they came out with different site plans and created more homes and whatnot, more paved areas, and created a larger retention pond through their approval process. As the development then progressed, it was found to be not sufficient, the retention pond. So a couple of years back, they've had to build a second retention pond, which is adjacent to this piece of property that we're talking about now, or that the applicant has applied for. That hasn't really solved the problems, and as of last year, the town has come along, notified us, and the work is progressing this spring, summer. They're putting huge ditches all along Lockhart, which will take all the extra runoff and take the water down to the lake. That runoff poisons the lake. I mean, all the phosphorus is going on, and we'll talk about the reports in a minute, but just imagine all the runoff going off. Now, so that's a brief history of what's happened on this site and around the site. Ourselves, climate changes, Innisfil is growing, there's lots of development, so there's a lot more water not being absorbed into the soils. Trees all around us are dying, they're flooding because we're in the only open space around that area is environmentally protected and floodplain, so it's all wet. And so now there's even more water, not just as a result of the development, but with all the things going on. Our trees are dying. I lose I don't know how many trees every year. Our septic beds fill with water to the point that our tanks are full, and then our plumbing backs up, not because there's septic waste, it's just water in the tanks. So every little bit of lost land that we have that doesn't absorb water is a great loss and not a minor variance. That's basically a historic take on it. Insofar as this application, it's nuts. I mean, I read through. First of all, it's on the site, on the website, and it's a complete report prepared by the applicant. There's no comments from any from any authorities insofar as even town engineers and whatnot. At best, in our view, this is premature. If you look at the report on page 2, it says, the proposed development is currently going through site plan approval process. A second submission has been made and is currently under review by town staff and external agencies. Well, shouldn't that be the horse before the cart? Like, shouldn't that happen before they say that it's okay to do all this? And not only that, when it comes to stormwater management, there's a new report that just came to council in January of this year, and it hasn't been adopted yet as far as I know. It was supposed to come around now. As far as I know, it hasn't been adopted yet, but it is a new plan for Innisfil to deal with stormwater management. They're taking their old site plan approvals, which are based on old plans and engineering reports and whatnot, and asking for changes to that, which I don't think are acceptable, which I'm going to go on to tell you why. But we have the benefit of new reports. Why aren't they waiting till we get the new reports and at least let their site plan approval go through before they ask for this to be reduced? I think, I don't want to use the word lightly, but loosely, I should say, but it's sort of a misrepresentation. If you go to page, I think it's page, I'm sorry, I tried to organize myself better, but so busy. Anyways, what they're saying here, as you've heard, they're going to replace open space with Muskoka rooms and sheds. They're, in our mind, they're confusing or trying to add confusion to the point of open space. What they're required to do under site plan is give amenity space to the new homeowners. So like there has to be so much amenity space for homeowners. So they're saying they've got a Muskoka room, they can put their storage in a shed, and that's their amenity room. But the open space area was open space for different reasons, to deal with stormwater management and things like that. It's not open space for those residents, you know, to put their lawnmowers there, and they're going to replace that with a Muskoka room in a shed. So, like, I mean, what they're saying here is I don't believe to be correct. Again, in their report, they talk about, and by the way, I don't think it was mentioned, they've also in their report from their engineer, because there's no town comments here on it, but there was in an old site plan an in lieu of, for stormwater management, you could pay money and then reduce the percentage. So they're saying they're going to give that money to do that, to reduce it. But these are numbers and credits that were dealt with many, many years ago. It's a different world today, and we just don't think it's being represented fairly. But the next thing is this minor variance. There's a test, they say they passed the 4 tests. I'm sorry, I'm jumping all over the place. I hope you're understanding if I'm being somehow making sense. They say it passes the 4 tests, which is minor, but when minor and appropriate. I'm just looking for their own words here, and I'm sorry. I can't find it.
Sorry, sir, we're a bit tight on time, so if you could just...
I'm sorry, but it's...
Oh, no worries. Thank you for...
You know, you're dealing with the environment and things like that. I think it's important. And
Thank you for your comments.
I won't take much more time. It says here, the minor variance is desirable and for the appropriate development or use of the land. That's number 3. Number 4, it is minor. It is minor. Is putting garden sheds and Muskoka rooms on land that's supposed to absorb water, is that appropriate? Is that an appropriate use of land? Like, I mean, when they've already been given great densities, there's townhouses, there's single houses, there were supposed to be a lot less houses. And again, no one's here complaining about their development, you know, we need houses and whatnot. But can't they put some more parking somewhere else, you know, or limit the amount of garden sheds or whatever? Anyhow, that's all. I'll cut it short. I've got more, but it's all the same. It's a great loss of land. They're saying it's only 5%, but if there's 5% less land to absorb X amount of water, well, it's 10% more water that's flowing onto the streets and everything else, because the 5 that didn't go in, plus the stuff that's coming off the roof and the asphalt, it's a lot of water. And if your committee or if the town doesn't care about that, they should care about the lake as well, because it's poisoning Lake Simcoe. Thank you. And if you won't turn it down, then I think at least defer it until the reports are done by the town, and then they get their planning, and then they can come back. You know, anyhow, so
Yeah,
I think
thank
it's
you
a
for your
misuse.
comments.
Thank you very much, Chairman.
Okay.
Am I a little nervous, you think? Sorry.
Okay. Mr. Connors, would you like to respond to the public's comments at all, or?
Sure. Through you, Madam Chair, just want to clarify just a couple things. So as part of the ongoing site plan approval process, we've been providing addendum reports to the previous reports that were provided during the original subdivision approvals to support the changes to the site design and layout. Since we're at the third submission within our site plan approval process right now, we've kind of hit a point where we're comfortable that there isn't going to be any further design changes to the site. LSRCA and town engineering staff through that process haven't indicated any concerns with the development itself and the proposed variance. And in order for us to proceed with site plan approval, we do require the variance before the town can issue the approval. So we're kind of just at the stage right now where we're ready to proceed with the variance so that we can get the site plan approval put in place.
Thank you. I'll now proceed to a motion. Can I have a motion from one of the committee members, unless you have any other questions or comments?
Make a comment, please.
Yep.
You know, this development has been approved years ago. And I sat on council at the time, and you know, while this was being approved, nobody showed up. I mean, there were public meetings, 2 people showed up. That's when, you know, you should have been here. As far as, I think the process is happening the way it's supposed to happen right now, and, you know, we either approve this or not approve this, but you need this to continue. So that's why it's here, not what, you know, the cart, it's not before the horse. It's the proper way of the process that's going on right now. And if there was going to be objections to this development at all, it should have been happening a long time ago. And that's my feeling on it. And you know, and I appreciate, Mr. Resnick, that you all of a sudden become an environmentalist. No, everything you see, the development was approved. It was approved. And then, you know what, Louis, I don't want to get in this with you because, you know. Yeah, okay, thank you. Because it'll just piss me off, to be quite blunt. So, I don't think the cart is before the horse. I think this is in proper order.
Okay, we'll then proceed to a motion. Can I have a motion from one of the committee members?
I make a motion that we approve application 004-2024 as long as all the conditions are met that are in the, as long as all the conditions are met.
Do I have a seconder? Arnie? Okay, all in favor? Okay. Your
Thank you very much.
application has been approved. Okay, we'll move on to the next application on the agenda. Application B002-2024 for 917 Ferrier Avenue. May I please ask the applicant to approach the podium, or if you're calling in, to be unmuted. Hi there.
Good evening.
May I please have your name?
John Barroso.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Secretary, can you please read out the details of the application and any comments associated with it?
Through you, through you, Madam Secretary, the applicant is proposing to sever a portion of the subject lands for the purpose of creating a new residential lot. This severance was previously approved by the committee, but the certificate of official has since expired. Planning recommends approval. InPower had comments. Building and In-Services and Engineering have no comments.
Thank you. Welcome to the Committee of Adjustments. Is there anything that you wish to add with regards to your application?
I would just like to speak to the fact that the process here my feeling is that it's somewhat flawed, because there is nothing in any of the paperwork that would have suggested to me that I had 2 years, once I met all my conditions of severance, to register the property. Now, in my case, this property is going to my daughter, so there was no rush for me to register it. I didn't hire a lawyer through the process, and now when I did hire a lawyer, because I did want to register the property, they told me that it was expired. I think there should be something in the paperwork that suggests that once you met all your conditions, you need to have the property registered within 2 years. I don't think it's fair that I now have to pay another fee to sever the property that's already been severed.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a response from town staff to address the comment?
Through the chair, we do note the concern. We are taking a look at our website to see if we can make it a little more clear for the future. It's the first time that something like this has happened where it expired in this nature. So generally speaking, more information, the better, online and on our website or on our notices. So we are taking that into account. That being said, so today is really more of a ratification of what was previously approved, and all the conditions were previously satisfied. So it's really just restamping what was previously approved by this committee.
So was the registration not a condition listed within the approval, or no?
Through the chair, so there were conditions which you need to get your certificate of consent, and it's that actual certificate of consent that needs to be registered. That in itself is not a condition of approval, as you couldn't clear that condition until you have your certificate. So it's a legal requirement, and one that we can make a little bit more clear in the future, but one that stands nonetheless.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from the committee members? Go ahead.
Our Committee of Adjustment decisions, none of them are any longer than, what, 2 years at the most? I mean, they don't last forever.
Through the chair, there could be expiry clauses, and the certificate is only valid for 2 years under, I believe, is it the Planning Act? Yeah, Planning Act. So it's legislatively required and applicable. It's just that I do feel for the applicant in the sense it wasn't abundantly clear on our paperwork or our website that is necessary. More often than not, there's eagerness and a rush to register. In this case, there wasn't, and that's where the discrepancy took place.
Thank you.
Any further questions or comments from the committee members? Okay, Mr. Moderator, do we have anyone from the public wishing to speak? No? Okay, thank you. Okay, so then we'll proceed to a motion. Do I have a motion? Go ahead. Marnie?
Through the chair, I'd like to make a motion regarding application B002-2024, which is 917 Ferrier Avenue, to be approved as applied for, subject to any conditions.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder? Bill? All in favor? Okay, your application has been approved.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, we'll proceed now to the next application on the agenda, application A009, 2024, for 2154 Adulam Avenue. May I please ask the applicant to approach the podium?
Good evening,
Hi there. Can you please state your name?
Jason Moody.
Thank you. Welcome to the Committee of Adjustments. Mr. Secretary, can you please read out the details with this application?
Through you, Madam Chair, the applicant is proposing to construct a second driveway on a residential lot. The applicant is seeking relief from Section 3.18.1G of the zoning bylaw, which allows a maximum of one driveway per residentially zoned lot in a settlement area. Planning recommends approval with conditions. Engineering had comments. The NVCA had comments, and in-services and engineering have no comments.
Thank you. Is there anything that you wish to add with regards to your application?
No, unless there's questions from anyone.
Okay, any questions from any of the members? Go ahead, Arnie.
Just curiosity, I'm assuming your garage that's attached to your house, there isn't a garage door in the back of that to get to
No,
your
that would be a
backyard. So
bonus.
I'm assuming you want this to be able to access your backyard?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions or comments? Okay, Mr. Moderator, anybody speaking from the public? Nope. Okay, we'll proceed then to a motion. Can I have a motion? Go ahead, Bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I make a recommendation that application A009, 2024, 2154 Dulum be approved as long as all the conditions are met.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Arnie, all in favor? Your application has been approved.
All right, thanks, guys.
Okay, and now we'll proceed to the next application, A010, 2024 for 1428 Thomas Drive. May I have the applicant please approach the podium or call in?
Through you, Madam Chair, we have Warren Dahl on the line. Warren, please press *6 to unmute yourself.
Good evening.
Hi, Warren.
Hi. Good evening.
Oh, you're very quiet on your end. 1 second, we're just trying to increase the volume.
Is that better?
Yes, thank you. Welcome to the Committee of Adjustments.
Thank you.
Mr. Secretary, can you please read out the details of the application and any comments associated with it?
Through you, Madam Chair, the applicant is proposing to legalize an existing accessory structure which will have a deficient front yard setback of 3 meters once a previously approved severance has been completed. The applicant is seeking relief from Section 4.2A of the zoning bylaw, which requires a minimum front yard setback of 6 meters. Planning recommends approval with conditions. In Power have comments. Engineering, in services, and building have no comments.
Thank you. Hi, Warren, is there anything that you wish to add with regards to your application?
No, not unless there's some questions.
Okay, thank you. Is there any questions or comments from any of the committee members? Yep, go ahead, Bill.
Just more or less a comment, and I know that the building was there before the houses across the street there were built, and I appreciate that. I'm just wondering, is there anything you can do with the back of that building to make it look a little bit more presentable for the houses across the street and even next door? I don't know, maybe draw windows on it, I'm not sure.
We could add something to the front of it, sure, if that would help.
Yeah, I think, I think the people on the street there would really appreciate that if you did something with it. Because it's just a blank wall. It's one big wall, and it's like I said, I understand. You were within your right when you built that originally because the front was where it is. It's just it doesn't blend in, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I understand. I could plant some trees across the front, if that would help. Maybe some shrubs or something, and put a window in.
I think whatever, anything you do there would probably be improvement. And those are my comments, that's all.
Thank you, Bill. Do we have any further comments or questions? I see none. Mr. Moderator, is there any members of the public wishing to address the application? All right, there are none. So we will then proceed with the motion. Can I have a motion from any of the members? Go ahead. Marnie?
Through the chair, I'd like to make a motion in regards to application A010-2024, which is 1428 Thomas Drive, to be approved as applied for, subject to conditions.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Bill? All in favor? Okay, all in favor, your application is approved.
Okay, thank you very much.
No problem. Take care. Okay, we'll now proceed to the next two applications associated with 1041 Fern Road, application numbers 011-2024 and A012-2024. Can I have the applicant please be unmuted?
Speaking.
Hi there. Can you please state your name?
Hi, yeah, and my name is Liana Mohammed.
Thank you. Welcome to the Committee of Adjustments. Mr. Secretary, can you please read out the details of the applications and any comments associated with it?
Through you, Madam Chair, the applicant is proposing to construct a detached garage exceeding the permitted size and lot coverage for an accessory structure. The applicant is seeking relief from Section 3.3A and 3.3B of the zoning bylaw. Planning recommends approval with conditions. Building have comments. Engineering and in-services have no comments.
Thank you. Leanna, is there anything that you wish to add with regards to your applications?
I do have two comments just to add in regards to the application thus far. In regards to the percentage, the lot percentage that has been stated in the bylaw of being 10%, I have spoken with our client and they had stated that they will be removing the 10 by 10 shed that's on the property right now. I'm not too sure if that allows a little bit of extra space in regards to the percentage for the accessory structure. Other than that, there has been no additional comments.
Thank you. Mr. Moderator, is someone from the town able to respond to her inquiry with regards to removing the additional structure?
Through you, Madam Chair, I believe our planner, Darren, is on the line. He's the person who reviewed the file. Darren, can you address comments, please?
Yes, through you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I'm just need some time to calculate the lot coverage for the shed. Just give me 1 second.
No worries, Darren. While you're doing that, I'll ask any members for any questions or comments for the applicant. Go ahead, Bill.
I just wondered, do you need to take part of the deck down to accommodate this garage at the back?
Leanna, are you able to respond to that?
Oh, you don't know? Okay. It looked like, because there's 3 stakes up there, and I couldn't see the 4th one, and I think it was into the deck.
So I believe the proposed one-story garage is going to be at the front of the property. So it doesn't seem like it is going to be in like anywhere near the area of the patio that is there on the site plan.
Okay.
Any further comments? Oh, go ahead, Darren.
Yeah, to your question, yeah, even they remove the existing shed, it still exceeds the 10% of the lot coverage.
Okay.
So yeah, a variance is still needed.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Darren. Do we have any further questions or comments from any of the committee members? Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Through the chair, just to clarify, notwithstanding, I appreciate the comments. It might make sense to just keep the numbers as is in case they have other future rebuilds or construction. They would not have to come back to committee for things that were previously approved. Planning is supportive, subject to conditions as per the attached drawing. So it might be advantageous to them to keep the decision as per how it was applied for.
Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Moderator, are there any comments from the public on this application? There's none. Okay, we'll proceed then to a motion. Can I have a motion from one of the committee members? Go ahead, Bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll make a motion that application A011 2024 1041 Fern Street and A012 2024 1040 Fern Street, that we approve it as long as all conditions are met and proper drawings are submitted.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Marnie, all in favor? Okay, Leanna, your applications have been approved.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Take care. Okay, we'll proceed now to the last application on the agenda, application A013 2024 for 3544 Crescent Harbor Road. May I ask the applicant to please be unmuted or please approach the podium.
Good evening,
Hi
Madam
there.
Chair. Christine Loft on behalf of San Diego Homes.
Thank you. Welcome to the Committee of Adjustment.
Thank you.
Mr. Secretary, can you please read out the details of the application and any comments associated with it?
Through you, Madam Chair, the applicant is proposing to construct a new dwelling with a proposed height of 9.4 meters. The applicant is seeking relief from Section 4.2B of the zoning bylaw, which permits a maximum building height of 9 meters for structures, principal structures in R1 zones. Planning recommends deferral. Building have comments and conditions. Engineering and in-services have no comments.
Thank you. Is there anything that you wish to add with regard to your application?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We would just point out that the application is for the height increase only of 0.4 meters. This is a result of the location of groundwater. We have reviewed the building department comments, and so the additional building plans are underway, and we will submit them to staff as soon as they are ready and be back to committee hopefully next month. Thank you.
Any comments or questions? Go ahead, Bill.
Was there some work going on there already? Like, were you excavating or
No
or
work.
clearing the lot?
No,
or-
just just checking of groundwater. And so with a basement proposed for the structure, they're aware that for the proposed home that we are going to be just over the 9 meters.
Yeah, I can understand it's pretty wet in that area. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions or comments from any of the committee members? Okay, I see none. Mr. Moderator, is there any members of the public wishing to speak? No, thank you. Okay, so then we'll proceed with the motion. Go ahead, Marnie.
Through the chair, I'd like to make a motion, motion in regards to application A013 2024, which is 3544 Crescent Harbor Road, be deferred until the proper plans have been submitted to the committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder? Bill, all in favor? Your application has been deferred.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Okay, we'll now proceed to other business. Mr. Secretary, is there any other business or correspondence for the committee?
Through you, Madam Chair, there isn't any.
Thank you. And we'll have a motion then to adjourn on May 16th at 7:16 p.m. Thank you.